the 49ers' best position group heading into week 1 against the Cardinals, factoring in the little we know about injuries?
I'm going to go defensive line with Nick Bosa and Dee Ford. They're two guys that are just always going to be banged up. And Bosa is going to be there to play for you on Sundays, but I have a hard time imagining Bosa playing through an entire training camp, an entire preseason. He's just going to be one of those guys that's there for you when it matters most. I'm not worried about him missing week 1. Ford is just going to be up and down with his health. So the defensive line group, I'm not worried about those two injuries. It's still the deepest group on the team. So with the defensive line, they're in good hands. That's the strongest group going into week 1.
So question was, what's the strongest group just going into week 1?
Just going into week 1.
I'd say running backs, because there's 5, or we were just talking about 5 legit running backs that we're all comfortable with making the roster. And there's 4, I think, that are legitimate starters. One obviously is way better than the rest, Raheem Mostert, but then Tevin Coleman, I think everyone's comfortable with starting every once in a while. And then Jeff Wilson Jr., I'm high on, and Jerick McKinnon out of the backfield. I think that's the strongest position group week 1.
Interesting. You guys both had good answers. I'm not going to go with D-line because I don't know if Nick Bosa is healthy. He might be. It seems like Dee Ford's getting back. I was at practice yesterday, and he was warming up. He had pads on. He was doing drills with a trainer. It seems like he's coming back. Bosa wasn't doing that. And the team has been real tight-lipped. They've said what everyone has, calf, hammy, whatever. With Bosa, it's a leg muscle strain. What is that? Why won't you tell us what it is? So he may or may not be healthy. He probably is, or I can't even say that he probably is. I have no freaking clue whether he's going to play week 1. Dee Ford probably will. Kinlaw isn't looking like what I think fans hoped he'd be week 1. I'm going to go with a tight end. I think tight end is the best position group on this team. I mean, look, Jordan Reed is much better than I realized. These guys from Washington, I'd never really seen him up close before. He's an amazing route runner with terrific hand-eye coordination, and that's a backup. Number 3 guy is Ross Dwelley. He'd be a good number 2 on a lot of teams. And then this Charlie Warner guy looks like he's going to be a really interesting blocker and a guy who's going to be tough to tackle in the open field. And then they also have that number 85 guy too, who's decent. So that seemed like that's the best quartet. That's the best group. I mean, it's deep. It's got a really good player at the top at Jordan Reed, and depth all the way down at the bottom in number 85, who seems like he could be pretty good if he keeps working hard and stays humble. So what do you guys think?
No, I agree.
I think
that.
Tight end is definitely top 5 of the strongest positions, but I just want to see Jordan Reed play with contact for a full 60 minutes before I think he's back to what he was with Kyle Shanahan at Washington, but I think he's definitely has the capability of being a top 25 tight end in the NFL this year.